Hello and welcome to my education blog. My name is Dr. Jeffrey Allen Hinton, and today I'm going to be talking about teaching students to ask their own questions. Before we get started, I would appreciate it if you would click on the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you don't miss any future content. In most high school classrooms, teachers do most of the talking. A study of student engagement revealed that on average, teachers talk between 70 and 80% of the time in the upper grades, using teaching methods such as direct instruction, demonstrations, and asking students questions. Even the somewhat interactive Q&A process, though, is dominated by teacher talk, as teachers usually follow a discernible pattern where the teacher initiates a question, the students respond, and the teacher evaluates the response, and usually builds upon it with detailed explanations. This pattern of classroom talk that consists of initiation, response, and evaluation is sometimes referred to as IRE, and is the cornerstone of most classroom dialogue. Further, teacher talk increases as students progress through the grades and academic content becomes more specialized. Thus, by the time students enroll in college, the lecture approach becomes the de facto method of disseminating knowledge. The question then becomes, when teachers talk, who is doing the thinking? In other words, in many classrooms, teachers bear most of the cognitive load, allowing students to be passive recipients of the teacher's instruction. However, this is beginning to change as university faculty and K-12 teachers realize that direct instruction in many situations results in poor academic performance and achievement compared with active learning strategies. So for example, a meta-analysis of 225 studies indicates that when professors utilize passive learning strategies, such as lectures in undergraduate STEM classes, failure rates increase by 55%. Further, when university faculty used active approaches to teaching and learning, they were better overall grades and a 36% drop in class failure rates. And according to a feature published in Harvard Magazine, university professors who engage in active learning strategies may be beginning to outnumber those that prefer direct instruction or the Lectio approach that has been utilized in the halls of higher learning for over 600 years. This trend will continue as older professors with more traditional techniques retire and are replaced by younger ones who hold more progressive views of teaching and learning. An excellent strategy to get students actively engaged in their learning is to teach them to ask their own questions. When students are taught to ask their own questions, they become active participants in their learning. Further, they're building on a community of learners, which results in high cognitive demand, student agency, and growing students into independent thinkers and learners. For example, research suggests that when students are asked to generate questions at the beginning of a unit of study, they are likely to ask questions that come from a genuine interest to understand and focus on a topic that they care about. Teachers then can use this information and leverage the knowledge of students into effective instruction that is both personal and relevant to the learner. Here's a teaching strategy. In his best-selling book, The Global Achievement Gap, Harvard University professor of education, Tony Wagner interviewed numerous CEOs about the essential qualities they looked for in prospective employees. One key trait that came up repeatedly was workers' abilities to ask good questions. As Wagner put it, quote, "Problem posing is more important than problem solving." This makes sense in a world almost everyone has instant access to information through the internet and related technologies. And as a result, agency is no longer being able to recall or even locate the correct answer. Instead, actual worth comes from creating new knowledge and ideas by asking good questions. There are three things that teachers can do to get their students to ask good questions. The first one, building a community of learners. The teacher's primary goal is to create a classroom community in which student questions are the expectation. Further, students must have a supportive environment to learn so that students feel encouraged to take intellectual risks free from ridicule. In other words, students must feel emotionally safe to make mistakes and to be vulnerable. Number 2, develop students' questioning skills by providing students with questioning stems. These stems could be displayed on a classroom walls as handouts or posted on a class website or learning management system. Teachers should model for their students how to use the stems throughout a lesson. Some popular question stems include things like why is, how did, how might, how did, who should, when might, what if, predict, why do you think, where might, in what ways, what do you think about, why do you agree or why do you disagree, what advice would you give, what would happen if or what caused, what are the pros and cons of, do you agree with that? Explain. The third aspect, question evaluation checklists. Providing students with a protocol to evaluate their questions is an excellent strategy to generate good questions that pertain to the lesson at hand. Questions may include things like, is it connected to the topic? Is the question open-ended? Is the question straightforward? Does it prompt student thinking? Make student questions a part of every lesson. There are a variety of techniques and approaches that are excellent ways to prompt students to ask their own questions. The key here is to be intentional by providing students with time. Some popular strategies are the favorite think, pair, share. This is a classic teaching strategy in which the teacher poses a question to the class. The students are then given time to think about their responses individually and then share their ideas with a neighbor. For purposes of generating questions, students could pose a question to their shoulder buddy using the questioning stems previously mentioned. 10 by 10. In this activity, teachers give students 10 minutes to generate 10 questions. This can be done individually or in small groups. Have students implement the question evaluation checklist for each question to ensure high quality questions. Visual and oral prompts provide students with a visual or auditory cue, such as a picture or a painting, an illustration, a political cartoon, maybe a video clip, a song, or a speech that in some way relates to the topic of the lesson. Have students generate questions in their response to what they see or what they hear. All right, so thank you for watching. My name is Dr. Jeffrey Allen Hinton, and if you'd like a transcription of this video, please visit my website. The link is in the description. Additionally, on my website, you can find other blog posts, lesson plans, as well as other free content. Again, please like this video, click on the notification bell, and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any future videos. Thanks for watching.